Chapter 171. Alex and Lisa negotiated for a few minutes before they finally came to an agreement. Although Alex still had to pay $1 million on top, he was getting the valuable item in exchange for a bad gold Pokemon, so he wasn't one to complain. He really wanted to have this item and not wait before such an item appears again. Alex has enough money, but not items that increase the potential, so he was willing to pay a little more to get this item safely. The next big auction will only take place after 6 months, so of course, he isn't going to save the money he currently has for that. He will earn more money at that time. He has more than 100 good ideas for making easy money but not many ways to find valuable items. Alex found a quiet place and initiated the trade with Lisa. Ditto, who was on Alex's face, couldn't help but jump down when he saw the box that just appeared on Alex's hand. Alex gave a smile and said, "Here, take it, Ditto. It's for you. Try to absorb as much energy as possible from it." Ditto immediately started to absorb the heart excitedly and noticed a sudden change in its body. After 1 minute, Ditto had absorbed the heart with excitement, and Alex looked at the information of Ditto. Pokemon. Ditto. Type. Normal. Ability. Imposter. Hidden ability. Gender. Genderless. Potential. Deep Silver. Move. Innate talent. Transform. E. Alex was not even a bit surprised that this rare and expensive item increased Ditto's potential. He was also sure that Ditto's was near the peak of Deep Silver and wouldn't need much to get to Shallow Gold. He had the feeling that if Ditto had another item to absorb for the next day, it would probably get the Shallow Gold rank. But that was if he could buy another item from Lisa. Unfortunately, these items are not only expensive but also so rare that they are hardly in stock. He looked back at Team Rocket's shop but couldn't find anything he needed. Most of the items are good, but none of these items were wanted by Alex at all. It makes no sense to give his Pokemon an item from a Pokemon that has an inferior potential and does not have a very high level. It will hardly help and permanently reduce the effect of items that his Pokemon will take in the future. After looking at the shop for a long time, he made his way to Steven's villa, whose address had been sent to him. After 15 minutes, Alex was standing in front of a villa encircled by a large fence and can only be entered through the large entrance gate. The villa was humongous and had several sections in which it was divided. It had everything you can imagine. A large pool, several high-class cars, playgrounds, a very large garden, a sauna, and a battlefield for Pokemon fights. Alex could even see a small mine that was near the villa. As Alex and his Pokemon got closer, Gardevoir suddenly noticed something. "Father, we're being watched by a psychic Pokemon. Although I can't pinpoint its location, I can feel it," she immediately informed Alex. In Terabang. "How strong is that Pokemon?" Gardevoir showed a serious expression as she said, "At least stronger than me but not at the champion level. If it were at the champion level, I wouldn't even have noticed that we were being watched." Alex wasn't surprised by hearing this. Psychic-type Pokemon is the perfect Pokemon to quickly spot enemies. Especially Ghost-type Pokemon that hide in the shadows can be detected very easily by them. A strong elite Psychic-type Pokemon can even spot champion-level Pokemon with enough time provided. Alex went to the entrance gate with a camera and pushed the button attached on the side. "Hello, this is Alex Stark. Steven should be waiting for me." After a few seconds, Alex heard a polite voice, "One moment, sir, please. I will inform the young master immediately." Alex, who saw the gate open, slowly started walking towards Steven's villa. Alex checked the info on this Pokemon and couldn't help but be a little impressed. Each of these 12 Pokemon was at least LV30, and 5 were even on the elite rank. In addition, one of these Pokemon was even at LV50. The land that the Steven family owned was enormous. It took Alex several minutes to reach the main door of the villa. At the entrance, several butlers and maids and his friend Steven were waiting with a smile. Steven immediately went to Alex with a smile and shook hands. "Alex, thank you for coming. I know how busy you are." Alex, who felt that Steven speaking honestly, also smiled in the reply and said, "Haha. No problem. I'm sure it can be a good experience for both of us." Steven, who heard that Alex downplayed this favor, couldn't help but feel that his assessment of Alex was correct. "Come on in, I'll show you around here. Look, Alex, these are all the treasures that I have found. Many of these stones are very strange, and I myself don't know what they do. Haha, if you like some special ones, I can give them to you as a present." Alex, who saw more than 200 stones separated in glass panes in this large room, couldn't help but be a little dazzled. According to Alex, almost all of these stones have no purpose. But because Steven sees them as a hobby, that's not so important either. Alex, who looked at the stones, tried looking for stones that he can probably recognize through the game in his old life. Although it is difficult to recognize some items in this world, mega stone that looks like marbles with colors are easily recognizable. After a bit of a looking around, Alex found 3 marbles-like stones with different colors. Chapter 72. Unfortunately, Alex can't identify the mega stone with the appearance of them as they are all very similar. So he doesn't know which mega stone belongs to whom. The easiest way to figure it out is to let his Pokemon check if they find a connection with it. But he can't do that in front of Steven since he may figure something out. The best option would be to get them first and check out later when he is alone. Steven, who saw that Alex showed great interest in these marble-like stones, said with a smile, "So, you like these stones, huh?" Alex thought for a few seconds and said, "Yeah, they really differ from other stones here. They look more like man-made stones." "You are absolutely right. The first time I thought that too. But after several tests, I found out that these stones were all unchanged for more than 100 years. I could also do other tests, but these stones don't seem to be anything special except for their appearance." Alex, who heard this, was silent for a few seconds. No matter what, I don't want to tell him anything about the mega stones. Even though he is a person with whom you can build a good friendship, it is far from the situation that I would tell him my secrets, Alex thought. Steven saw Alex staring at these stones thoughtfully, and with a friendly smile, he said, "You know what, if you like these stones so much, I will give them to you." Alex, who was already thinking of asking for these stones, was glad that Steven offered them himself. Alex immediately accepted the offer. "Thank you, Steven. Ha ha ha, that's really unnecessary. These stones have no real value anyway. I am only giving you nice-looking stones." Alex, who heard this, smiled slightly and thought, "Although you don't know it, you gave me a great gift. If I find a mega stone that fits your Pokemon, I'll pay you back." After Alex had taken the 3 mega stones, he and Steven continued to walk through the collection. Alex could not find anything that looked familiar, so he simply listened to Steven telling him a bit about the different stones. After 30 minutes, Steven finished going through the collection and went to the training room with Alex. Steven's training room was many times better than that of the expensive hotel. It was huge, had special machines for almost every type of training, and had several battlefields for fighting. It was kind of a perfect place to train Pokemon. Alex, who saw this enormous training hall, couldn't help but say with an envious look, "Wow. This is really the perfect place to train." Alex, who heard this, couldn't help but be a little surprised when he said, 70 million. At this price, you can buy a very rare S-rank Pokemon. You really have too much money to spend on a training room. Though I have to admit that it is a good investment if it really makes training more efficient. Steven heard Alex describe it as a good investment and couldn't help but say with a relieved smile, "And I thought you'd make fun of me for throwing away so much money." It depends. How much more effective is it compared to the training rooms of the best hotel? Steven showed a proud expression when he said, "With move mastery, it is between 20 to 35%, and with body mastery, it is 20–55% more effective. It is very dependent on which Pokemon trains, so some Pokemon will benefit more from it. My training room is specialized for Rock and Steel type Pokemon, so most of them prove more effective to me. For my Pokemon, the improvement rate is 30–35% and 45–55% higher. It sounds like the trainers who specialize in types have it easier designing their training rooms." Steven said with a lively tone, "Alex, you don't need to worry. I know a good building company from my father who also makes good general training rooms. It has many different options. If you have raised a bit of money, you can get a room done for yourself from them. I can even give you a discount." Alex showed a happy expression when he said, "No, I have good money, but I haven't found a place where I want to stay longer. Maybe when I've found a house for myself, I'll ask you again. I also don't want this discount. As you probably know, money can ruin a friendship, and I don't really need it." Steven smiled and said, "Oh. Is that someone too proud to take a discount from his friend?" "Ha ha ha. Alex, you are really a very proud person." Alex started to laugh a little when he replied, "Ha ha, says the person who thinks he can easily win the rookie tournament and become champion. Tell me, who's got a bigger ego here?" Alex stopped smiling and said seriously, okay, 3 versus 3 like in the rookie tournament. Though you can be glad that I don't know your Pokemon's info and don't have enough time to create a good tactic. Steven heard how Alex was showing off his superiority in the talent of tactics and couldn't help but say, Alex, are you looking for excuses now? If you want, I can show you my 3 Pokemon beforehand. Alex stopped smiling and said with a poker face, no, it's okay. Let's get started right away. We'll fight a lot anyway, so I will soon know about your Pokemon. Steven also stopped his smile as he said, okay, sounds good. Let's get started. Alex and Steven started walking towards the battlefield together. Chapter 173. After the shield was activated, Steven and Alex released their first Pokemon at the same time. A silver-colored Metagross with golden claws and an X mark on its face appeared as Scizor at the same time. Metagross was more than 2 meters tall and looked somewhat threatening with his freezing cold look. Alex, who saw the information from Metagross, couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. What in Terabang? Pokemon. Metagross, Shiny. LV, 47. Type. Psychic, Steel. Ability. Light Metal, Hidden Ability. Potential. Diamond. Moves. Takedown, E, Confusion, Magnet Rise, Metal Claw, Pursuit, Bullet Punch, Miracle Eye, Zen Headbutt, Scary Face, Psychic, E, Agility, Meteor Mash, E, Hammer Arm. Perfect Talent, Earthquake, M, Perfect Talent, Rock Polish, E. TM, Ice Punch, TM, Thunder Punch, TM, Light Screen, TM, Reflect, TM, Protect, TM, Sandstorm, TM, Facade, TM, Brick Break, TM, Rock Slide, TM, Psycho Cut, TM, Rest. Dash. Diamond, LV47, 4 expert rank moves and 1 master rank move. What kind of FC King monster is that? I also think that 2 expert rank moves weren't there at the first meeting, and the Earthquake wasn't on the master rank yet, thought Alex when he saw this monstrous Pokemon. When thinking more carefully, he thought about a thing that had bothered him for a long time. Why does an innate talent move disappears when a Pokemon reaches diamond rank? From 3 to 2. But it wouldn't make sense if the old innate talent move suddenly becomes difficult to improve after the potential upgrade. Steven probably knows that, but I have to ask it inconspicuously because I can't really know which moves have improved. Alex gave a wry smile and said, Steven, your Pokemon got stronger really quick. I guess even my elite rank Pokemon don't get stronger this fast. As you might have already guessed, my Metagross is an SS rank Pokemon, so he has not yet stopped leveling very quickly. I did a little research and found out that Metagross should begin to level up slowly only after reaching the champion ranks. Alex felt like Steven trusted him for telling him these relatively secret things and felt that Steven was really a good friend. Although most likely nobody would dare to rob Steven Stone even if he has an SS rank Pokemon, it is still not beneficial to talk about it everywhere. Wow, this is the first time I've seen an SS rank Pokemon. What's so different about it from an S rank Pokemon? You don't know. I always thought that it is general knowledge for High Alliance members. Almost all High Alliance members know about it. Really? Nobody told me. Most probably because you haven't met and talked to many High Alliance members yet. Alex nodded in the reply. He is really still a newcomer to the Alliance. He only knows Professor Walder, whom he has not asked about this topic yet. I really should talk with Professor Walder more often and ask if I have any questions, thought Alex. Steven looked at Alex thoughtfully and started explaining it to Alex while bringing out his inner coach's persona. Yes, I noticed that when the Pokemon has reached the lower limit of its potential, it starts to level up more slowly. For example, I have an A-rank, Silver, Pokemon whose leveling up speed has been slower than my other Pokemon after reaching LV35. Although it can still level up, it is getting slower and slower. Steven looked surprised when he heard Alex. Alex, did you figure that out yourself? Alex said in an amused and bit of fake prideful tone, of course. With my superior intelligence, I was bound to find it sooner or later. Steven, who heard this, started laughing. Ha ha ha. Alex, I think you can find out the rest by yourself. You won't need my help. Alex started smiling and said in an aggrieved tone, you are really mean to me, your only friend. Steven just lightly smiled when he said, okay, let's move on, my only friend. Both Metagross and Scizor, who had been listening to the whole conversation, couldn't help but show an annoyed expression. Steven started to speak with a serious expression. Okay, Alex, since you already know about the level increase, I'll tell you about move mastery. As you already know, every S-ranked Pokemon has 3 moves which can improve much faster than other moves. It can also improve all other moves faster. For example, an S-ranked Pokémon can improve normal moves faster than an A-ranked Pokémon. Now then, let's talk about the question you have about rank difference. The disparity between S-rank and SS rank is large. First of all, every move except 2 will have the same improvement in speed as the 3 special moves of the S rank. In addition, there will be 2 moves that will be improved particularly quickly. And by quick, I mean ridiculously fast. With enough training and equipment, one of these moves can be brought from expert rank to master rank within 1.5 months. Alex showed a surprised expression when he heard it. Wait, does that mean that every move by Metagross is now an innate talent move and 2 moves are even better? Thought Alex with a bewildered expression. This is completely ridiculous. Steven, who could understand this emotion, said, yes, I can understand that it sounds very unrealistic, but that's the truth. The difference is really immense between S rank and SS rank. The difference is similar to B rank Bronze and S rank Pokemon Gold. Alex knew that Steven didn't lie about it and had spoken with honesty. Now that Alex had heard the benefits of the Diamond potential, he couldn't do anything but be happy to have such a Pokemon himself. Crobat and Scizor on the Diamond rank shouldn't be impossible but really difficult. It may only be possible with an item from a full-blood legendary Pokemon. Ditto should probably only have a chance with Mugenix. If I find something like that out of the way. I don't know myself where Team Rocket will find it and whether they have already found it. Alex, the analysts, noticed that the Diamond rank is not ridiculously difficult to reach for most of his Pokemon. Chapter 174. Alex, along with Steven, noticed that Scizor was showing an annoyed expression when both happened to glance in their direction. Scizor had an expression like, can you finally stop talking and start this fight? Steven, who also saw that his Metagross was similar to Scizor, also stopped talking. Both Alex and Steven showed an understandable look to each other and moved towards the opposite ends of the battlefield, protected by the protective shield. Although the physics of people in this world is better compared to Alex's world, it is not like they will be fine after being hit by an elite Pokemon's attack. And it may even kill you if it hits a critical place like the head. Alex, who saw the excitement of Scizor, couldn't help but think, why are you so excited to get beaten up? Do you really think that you can win just because I have good tactics? Or do you think that you are not much weaker? 7 levels may not look like much, but it's a big difference. Along with a move on Master Rank, Alex never believed for a second that Scizor had any chance to win. He also didn't have any specific good tactic against this monster. His old good 2 Scizor's tactics are also entirely futile. Metagross will easily defeat Scizor before he can reinforce himself. And Sandstrom's hiding tactic is totally pointless against a Psychic-type Pokemon. 3, 2, 1, start. Alex and Steven started giving their commands at the same time. Scizor, jump in the air to glide. Metagross, use Earthquake. Steven, who heard Alex's command, showed a surprised expression, but it didn't affect his confident face. Scizor, who can't really fly due to his weight and also because he's lost his flying type, can still glide. Unfortunately, Alex knows from experience that an Earthquake can be used for a long time after reaching the expert rank. So, in the end, he is only delaying the inevitable. Also, the fact that Scizor doesn't have a good non-melee move except Roost doesn't help. Metagross started using Earthquake and the ground started shaking. Metagross, while you keep Earthquake, start preparing Psychic. Master rank moves are really special. When Steven saw the Metagross almost finished preparing Psychic, he smiled and said, Metagross, use Psychic to knock Scizor off the ground. Scizor, use Protect and then glide towards Metagross and start preparing Brick Break. Metagross used Psychic and hit against Scizor's Protect shield. Scizor's shield lasted only for a second before it began to break. After the shield broke, the rest of the power of Metagross's Psychic hit Scizor. Scizor was struck and knocked to the ground after being hit by Metagross's Psychic. Scizor fell to the ground and was only 5 meters from Metagross's Earthquake. He had passed out immediately after the hit, and you could find blood coming out of his mouth. Alex knew that Earthquake would do more damage the more near the user is. But he didn't think that Scizor would be defeated by one hit. But after a few seconds of thinking, he thought that it actually made a lot of sense. Alex quickly went to Scizor and started healing him with a Hyper Potion. After he healed Scizor, he called him back to the Pokeball and started thinking about what to do next. After a few seconds of thinking, Alex said to Steven, Steven, I don't have a Pokemon that is anywhere near as strong as your Metagross, so I'll give up this fight. But we can still continue the training fight. I would recommend that you let another Pokemon fight which is less strong than Metagross. Steven, hearing that he won, had a lively expression when he said, "Good fight, Alex. Even though you lost, I'm not really that strong. Although my Metagross is really strong, I only have 2 elite Pokémon. And my second elite Pokémon is not that strong like my Metagross. You really only have 2 elite Pokémon. But it doesn't matter much. With this monster like Metagross, I don't think you can lose. Let's go on." Steven and Alex released their next Pokémon. Crobat and Skarmory appeared on the battlefield at the same time and began to move into position. Dash. Pokémon. Skarmory. Type. Flying, Steel. Ability. Keen Eye. Gender. Male. Potential. Shallow Diamond. Moves. Leer, Peck, Sand Attack, Metal Claw, Air Cutter, Fury Attack, Feint, Swift, Spikes, Agility, Steel Wing, Slash, Metal Sound. Perfect Talent Taunt E. Perfect Talent Sky Attack E. TM Toxic, TM Roost, TM Flash Cannon, TM Substitute, TM Facade, TM Swords Dance, TM Fly, TM X Scissor, TM Sandstorm. Dash. It was only 3 levels higher and had no master rank move. It doesn't seem to have trained his 2 perfect talent moves long, so he's not completely ridiculously strong for now. This will be a relatively easy fight. If Steven didn't have this Metagross, I would have probably won a 3 vs 3. 3 minutes later, Steven, who was completely outplayed by Alex, looked at his unconscious Pokémon. Although Steven lost, he lost because of the simple tactic of this world, which annoyed him a bit. Alex's tactic in this fight was simply to use the Crobat's Shadow Ball and stay out of range of Skarmory's close combat. Steven saw this quickly and gave Skarmory the order to use Agility 2 times to become as fast as Crobat. But during this time, Skarmory had already taken a lot of damage thanks to his mediocre HP and SP. Def. After that, Alex let Crobat continue to use Shadow Ball and made it a fight of knocking down the opponent unconscious first. Unsurprisingly, Crobat won the fight. Alex took advantage of Steven's confusion and Skarmory's weakness perfectly and won this fight easily. Chapter 175. Steven started healing his Skarmory immediately after it got unconscious. He was slightly frustrated that Skarmory lost even though it had more level and type advantage. He felt like he still had a lot to learn. Steven was sure that without his Metagross, he would have easily lost to Alex. After calling Skarmory back to his Pokeball to rest, he started talking to Alex. "Wow, Alex. You are really a very skilled trainer. You beat me so easily even though I have a stronger Pokémon. It's really impressive," Alex said with a smile. "Thanks, Steven. But this fight was harder than it looked and actually quite close. If your Skarmory had a good long-range move, the result might have been different." Steven understood that Alex was advising how to cover his shortcomings. "Thanks for the suggestion, Alex. I also noticed that this is really a big weak point of Skarmory." "Yes. Though it doesn't matter whether you are specialized in close combat attacks or not. But in such cases, you have to have a plan if your opponent takes advantage of that. Do you know my Scizor's Sandstorm tactics that I used in the Kanto Rookie Tournament?" "Oh, yes. I saw that on the TV. It is a really creative and interesting tactic," Alex said with a relaxed smile. "Yes, though this tactic cannot be used often. But if it can be used, it can weaken Scizor's opponent almost completely and hide Scizor very well. He doesn't have to be afraid of being hit and can make himself strong and fast to easily win the fight. And most likely, he will win without any damage, too." "True. But Alex, you can't use that against many Pokémon." "Sounds good, but it's harder to do it than saying. Yes, it's really challenging to find an optimal tactic with few counters or hiding weak spots. I may even say, almost impossible. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Sigh Alex, although it sounds tempting, that's not really my style. These multiple tactics suit you better." Alex smiled when he said, "I'll take that as a compliment then." Steven recalled that he still has a Pokémon that he wanted to test. He looked at Alex and said, "Alex, I still have a Pokémon, but it's not really strong. It is the Pokémon I used when we fought each other for the first time." After a short pause, he asked in a funny tone, "Can you remember which one it is?" Alex shook his head with a smile still plastered on his face and said, "Mr. Steven Stone, do you really think I don't remember? Don't underestimate my power of memorization. It was your errand that you used the last time and lost to me. And if my guess is right, it must have evolved to Lyron, right?" Steven, who heard Alex say that he lost to him, just nodded his head with a weak smile. They both know that they are just having fun and that this fight was just a practice fight between 2 very young Pokémon. Alex said, "Sure, sounds interesting. Bastiodon and Lyron appeared on the battlefield simultaneously. Pokémon. Lyron. LV, 32. Type. Rock, Steel. Ability. Rock Head. Gender. Male. Potential. Deep Gold. Harden, Tackle, Mud Slap, Headbutt, Metal Claw, Rock Tomb, Roar, Iron Head, Rock Slide, Takedown, Metal Sound, Iron Tail. Innate Talent Rock Polish E. Innate Talent Sandstorm E. Innate Talent Protect. TM Toxic, TM Earthquake, TM Facade, TM Rest, TM Sleep Talk, TM Substitute, TM Shadow Claw, TM Stone Edge, TM Aerial Ace. Dash. Alex saw this info and was a bit disappointed with the level of Lyron. But the next moment, he realized something as he thought. Wait, it's actually pretty good considering that Steven has less training time than me and has not trained in the wilderness. Steven saw that Bastiodon's level was higher than his Lyron, and he knew that Lyron probably couldn't win this fight. Experienced trainers can roughly estimate the level of other Pokémon with an error range of 0 to 2 LVs. But after seeing the look from Lyron, he knew that his Pokémon really wanted to fight and wash away his shame of defeat. He looked in the direction of Steven and said with a confused expression, "Steven, don't you have 2 other Pokémon? You said you managed to revive Omanite and Kabuto." Steven showed a slightly guilty expression when he said, "Yes, that's true. But I don't have these 2 Pokémon anymore. I traded them for 3 other fossils." Alex, who heard this, started laughing out loud. "Ha ha ha. Steven, why do you look so guilty when you say that? I only ask out of curiosity. I'm happy for you if you can make a good trade." Steven could only nod with a sheepish smile on his face. Out of curiosity, whose fossils were they? Oh, they were of Lileep, Anorith, and Aerodactyl. I was able to successfully revive Lileep and Anorith a few days ago. But the revival of Aerodactyl's fossil has encountered problems and is currently at a standstill. Alex thought after hearing this, Steven is about to finish his champion team, and there is only Claydol missing now. Okay, let's start the fight. Both Pokémon started using Earthquake without stopping, trying to win each other as quickly as possible. Alex, who saw this, couldn't help but facepalm. What are you doing there? Did you even try to think, or did you just saw Lyron doing it and started copying him? That's just plain stupid. Lyron has a much better attack and just a little bit weaker def. How come you chose to fight like that? If you want to do an attack, at least use move like Metal Sound, so you will have a chance to win. When Alex was dealing with the unforeseen mental crisis, both Pokémon began to get badly injured. Both Pokémon have a 4-fold ground-type weakness, so it's not surprising that it wasn't a long battle since both Pokémon were not trying to evade. Both used Protect once. After less than a minute, Bastiodon was lying on the floor in front of Lyron, unconscious. Alex was thinking only about one thing while healing. From today on, I will assign extra training hours for Bastiodon to correct his tactical nonsense. Bastiodon, who laid unconscious on the floor, did not know what kind of destiny awaits him. Chapter 176. 40 days later. Steven and Alex, who spent the entire time training, have made a lot of progress in this time. Steven didn't only manage to improve the move mastery and levels of his Pokémon but also learned a lot from Alex. He exchanged many ideas about tactics and many other different topics with Alex. Metagross only climbed 1 level in these 40 days, though it trained the remaining perfect talent move Rock Polish on the master rank. Skarmory and Lyron made a big step forward during this training period. Moreover, Skarmory even trained a move to the master rank during this time. Lileep and Anorith have also made great progress in this time and are, at least, not as weak as before. Steven Team. Metagross, LV48 Diamond. Skarmory, LV45 Shallow Diamond. Lyron, LV38 Deep Gold. Lileep, LV31 Deep Gold. During this time, Alex also made a significant improvement and now has 5 elite Pokémon. Pokémon. Crobat, LV43. Type. Poison, Flying. Ability. Inner Focus. Gender. Male. Potential. Gold. Absorb, Supersonic, Astonish, Bite, Wing Attack. Confuse Ray, Swift, Haze, Leech Life, Mean Look, Venoshock. Innate Talent Shadow Ball E. Innate Talent Fly E. Innate Talent Cross Poison E. TM Protect, TM Toxic E. TM Sludge Bomb, TM Facade, TM Taunt, TM Roost, TM Substitute. Pokémon. Scizor, LV 43. Type. Bug, Steel. Ability. Technician. Gender. Male. Moves. Leer, Quick Attack, Focus Energy, Double Team, Feint, Fury Cutter, Wing Attack, Agility, Slash, Razor Wind, Iron Defense, X Scissor. Innate Talent Roost E. Innate Talent Metal Claw E. Innate Talent Brick Break E. TM Protect, TM Toxic, TM Thief, TM Facade, TM Giga Impact, TM U-Turn, TM Sandstorm, TM Substitute, TM Swords Dance E. Pokemon. Gardevoir. LV. 43. Type. Psychic Fairy. Ability. Telepathy Hidden Ability. Potential. Deep Gold. Moves. Growl, Confusion, Double Team, Teleport E. Disarming Voice, Lucky Chant, Magical Leaf, Heal Pulse, Draining Kiss, Psychic, Imprison, Future Sight. Innate Talent Disable E. Innate Talent Calm Mind E. Innate Talent Dazzling Gleam E. TM Protect, TM Shadow Ball, TM Will-O-Wisp, TM Thunderbolt, TM Thunder Wave, TM Helping Hand, TM Focus Blast. Pokemon. Ditto. LV. 40. Type. Normal. Gender. Genderless. Potential. Deep Silver. Move. Innate Talent Transform E. Pokemon. Bastiodon. LV. 40. Type. Rock, Steel. Ability. Sturdy. Gender. Male. Move. Protect, Tackle, Taunt, Metal Sound, Take Down, Iron Defense, Swagger, Ancient Power, Block, Endure. Innate Talent Rock Polish E. Innate Talent Sleep Talk E. Innate Talent Flamethrower E. TM Taunt E. TM Rock Slide, TM Rest E. TM Earthquake, TM Flash Cannon. Pokemon. Combusken. LV. 35. Type. Fire Fighting. Ability. Speed Boost Hidden Ability. Gender. Female. Potential. Gold. Moves. Growl, Scratch, Ember, Sand Attack, Peck, Double Kick, Flame Charge, Quick Attack, Bulk Up. Innate Talent Attract E. Innate Talent Sunny Day E. Innate Talent Overheat E. TM Protect, TM Flamethrower, TM Rock Slide, TM Will-O-Wisp E. TM Poison Jab. Pokemon. Eevee. LV. 38. Type. Normal. Ability. Adaptability. Gender. Female. Potential. Gold. Move. Growl, Tackle, Tail Whip, Quick Attack, Double Kick, Sand Attack, Bite, Swift, Takedown, Double Edge, Helping Hand, Charm, Baton Pass. Innate Talent Rest E. Innate Talent Sleep Talk E. Innate Talent Workup E. TM Toxic, TM Shadow Ball, TM Facade, TM Protect, TM Attract. After these 40 days, Alex's Pokemon made a lot of improvement, whether it's level, physical fitness, or moves mastery, and have gotten more powerful. After 30 days, Crobat managed to train the move Toxic on the expert rank and then started training the Taunt according to Alex's instructions. He also went up 3 levels and learned the move Venoshock. After 31 days, Scizor managed to train the Swords Dance to the expert rank and then started training the Agility according to Alex's instructions. He also went up 3 levels and learned the move X Scissor. After 26 days, Gardevoir managed to train the move Teleport to the expert rank and then started training the Psychic as told by her father. So she went up 4 levels and is now at the same level as Scizor and Crobat. She also learned the move Future Sight. When Gardevoir crossed the elite limit and got to LV 40, she told Alex that she can perceive the surroundings much better than before. And she can even sense the psychic power of Pokemon and other people. Meaning, she can now even assess a person's talent for being a psychic. Alex was instantly intrigued after hearing this and asked how his talent was. Gardevoir gave a proud smile when she said, "I don't know, but you have at least 10 times more talent than Steven. I need to see more people be able to judge it properly, but I think Father has at least a good talent." In these 40 days, Ditto trained Transform through many different ways and also did many types of physical fitness training in these transformations. Although there was no noticeable improvement, Alex let Ditto train that way. As soon as Transform is on the master rank, all the efforts put into it will be worth it. Unfortunately, Ditto is the Pokemon that has made the least progress with leveling up, as it leveled up only twice. Its potential seems to have started to restrict its growth more and more. During these 40 days, Alex searched for an item for Ditto but couldn't find a good enough item. Bastiodon trained the move Sleep Talk on the expert rank after 13 days and then started training the Taunt. After 25 more days, he also trained this move on the expert rank and followed Alex's instructions to begin training the rest. Bastiodon also managed to climb 5 levels and learned the move Endure. After 14 days, Combusken trained the move Attract to the expert rank, and then she started practicing the Will-O-Wisp. After another 26, she also reached expert rank in this move. And, following Alex's instructions, she began training the flamethrower. She also made the leap forward in levels and was currently standing at level 35. She also learned to move bulk up. Evie absorbed all of the energy from the Moonstone after 25 days and managed to improve her potential. Although Moonstone was completely empty now, the fact that Evie improved her potential made it worth it. Alex wanted to buy more Moonstone. But unfortunately, they are too expensive, and the quality of high Moonstone was rather unsatisfactory for him. Only the energy from top Moonstone would help Evie. And these stones are rare and very expensive, which Alex has not found any so far. Alex still has a top Moonstone, but he doesn't want to use it until Evie begins to evolve, so that he can get the maximum out of this evolution. Evie has not only made progress with her potential but also with her move mastery and levels. Evie trained rest and sleep talk on the expert rank with a steadfast effort of 30 days. Then she started practicing the double edge according to Alex's instructions. She also went up 7 levels and learned the charm and baton pass moves. Alex, who had to make many important decisions during those days, like which Pokemon will train which move, spent a lot of time thinking. There were Pokemon where making the decision required no thinking. Like Scizor, where Alex wanted to train the 3 reinforcement moves Swords Dance, Agility, and Focus Energy first and foremost. But there were also Pokemon where Alex had to think for a long time, like Combusken. In games from Alex's old world, it wouldn't make sense to let Combusken train the Will-O-Wisp move. But in this world, it's a totally different topic. Will-O-Wisp does more damage and is more effective when used by a Fire-type Pokemon. And through the tests done by him, Alex found that it becomes even more effective when Sunny Day is used beforehand. But Alex couldn't decide which move Combusken should learn first. Flamethrower has the same advantages, but also has the disadvantage of Combusken wanting to use Overheat at the beginning. But even with this disadvantage, it is important that Combusken actually has a different Fire-type attack move on the expert rank other than Overheat. After thinking for a long time, Alex decided that the Will-O-Wisp is probably more important for Combusken than Flamethrower for now. Especially when you consider that this move is more important while fighting in a team. Alex also wanted to train for the remaining 5 days before the start of the rookie tournament. But Steven wanted to go to a mountain range where there are supposedly many good and rare rock-type Pokemon. It was a mountain range that Alex cannot enter in the games and was only visible on the map. This mountain range was not only filled with rock-type Pokemon, but you could also find many ice-type Pokemon living there on the top. This mountain range is very popular among elite trainers, and there are often good and rare Pokemon found there. Although it is dangerous, it is not really dangerous for relatively strong elite trainers like Alex and Steven. So they both agreed to climb this mountain and stay on this mountain for a few days. Chapter 177. In a forest on a mountain residing in the Hoenn region rests a proud Nettles inside a very clean cave. This proud Nettles rules over this area together with her life partner, who had just gone hunting for food. She was the most talented among all Nettles she has ever met. And even the Pokemon with the best talent of different species were not as good as her. Which made her a very prideful Pokemon. She doesn't know if she really has better talent. But she noticed that how she improves moves faster and can even use moves that no other Pokemon can. That's why she thinks her talent is better. This proud Nettles also had high demands for her life partner. So she ignored all other male Nettles and only talked to the most talented ones she met. Although her life partner had a little less talent than her, he was at least a little stronger and was the most talented among the Nettles besides her she has ever met. After she and her life partner had accumulated good strength, they together secured territory for their family to use. She noticed a week ago that her body had changed slightly and found out that she was pregnant with her first child. She felt that she probably wouldn't need to wait more than a month until her child was born, and this thought left her face very blissful for an unknown time. Nettles is a Pokemon that is only pregnant for 40 to 45 days. And only when the pregnancy begins on the 35th day that their combative abilities get limited. As she was waiting in her cave for her partner, she suddenly heard a very aggressive scream from her partner, which could be heard throughout the area. She knew immediately that her partner would never cry out such a scream, and he must have met a strong opponent. And he must have been warning Pokemon to not enter their territory. Nettles looked serious and quickly started running in the direction from where the scream came. With her swift speed, she didn't even need 1 minute to arrive. What she saw shocked her to the core and created a feeling she had never felt before. She knew that this monster was much stronger than her and that she would die if she fought against this monster. But she was not able to suppress these hateful emotions. The steel giant only looked at her for a moment and then began to eat again with a nonchalant expression. She showed a hateful expression and began to show a fighting stance. When she was just about to attack, she suddenly remembered that she is not only responsible for her life. Child. My child. I have to stay alive for my child and not drag it to death with me. I can take revenge later. For now, I must protect my child. She managed to suppress her anger and started running away. She felt as if her proud ego was wholly broken at that moment, but she knew that it was the right decision. The steel giant saw the hateful expression and knew that it wasn't over. Although he couldn't guess why this Nettles ran away, he knew that this Nettles wouldn't give up and kill him when she gets strong enough to do so. Together with the fact that these Nettles must be very talented to have such strength at such an age, he knew that he should not let this future enemy run away. The steel giant began to chase the Nettles at a good pace, which was more than 100 meters away from him. Nettles saw that she was being followed and got really furious. He didn't only kill her life partner but also wanted to kill her child. What a monster. The steel giant was even a bit faster as it caught up 1 meter every 20 seconds. Nettles, who realized she was a bit slower than him, knew that she had to find another way to escape this giant steel monster. She immediately thought of the cold mountain's top where only ice-type Pokémon can survive, which is adjacent to this area. Together with the cold atmosphere on this mountain, she hoped to come across a strong Pokémon that could make this monster stop chasing her. With this thought, she ran there immediately. Nettles and the steel giant started running at a higher and higher height and soon reached the place filled with snow. Although the steel giant felt uncomfortable, he did not give up and continued to pursue his prey. Nettles, who doesn't get along well with such cold areas, also felt very uncomfortable but endured it for survival. When she almost gave up the hope of survival, she suddenly saw a strong Glalie in front of a cave watching two of them. Nettles showed a look of hope and quickly started running in the direction of this Glalie. And the reality didn't disappoint her. Glalie started yelling at the steel giant, whom he knew as Aggron, that he shouldn't enter his territory. Aggron wasn't afraid of this Glalie, but he knew that this Nettles would probably escape if he started fighting this Pokémon now. He wasn't quite within range, but he still started to prepare a long-ranged move to hit Nettles. Glalie also noticed that he had no chance against this Aggron and began to use his secret weapon. He used a move to hit a weak part of the mountaintop to detonate it and create a mini avalanche. He has lived in this area for a long time and knows which places he has to hit in order to create an avalanche. Glalie wasn't afraid of being buried in the snow, but this Aggron won't have it easy. He is bound to suffer. Nettles saw how slowly the avalanche was getting bigger and was soon about to reach and cover everything around them. She knew that she would die if she were hit by it and dashed towards the cave of Glalie. While it's not the best solution, it's better than dying right now. Aggron, who saw an avalanche coming closer and closer, showed an astonished and angry expression. He felt that he would be at least gravely injured if he was hit by it and that the situation only happened because of the Nettles. He wanted to run into the cave where Glalie came from, but he saw that there wasn't enough time and that this Glalie would stop him. He became furious. To vent his anger, he used Hyper Beam that he had prepared beforehand against Nettles, who was standing near the face of the cave and was just about to enter. Because of the incredible strength of Hyper Beam, the cave began to collapse, and Nettles had to run deeper into the cave to avoid being buried by rocks, ice, and stalactites. Nettles, who ran deeper and deeper into the cave, noticed that the cave was not showing any signs of stopping the collapse when she looked back. And just like she had thought, the cave continued to collapse for the next few seconds. After 100 meters of running, Nettles finally noticed that the cave had stabilized and stopped collapsing. It seems that the combination of the Hyper Beam on the ceiling and the avalanche almost collapsed the cave. Nettles stuck in this cave began to go deeper into this cave to look for another way out. After 2 hours, she noticed that although several Zubats they can live quite well in a cold place were living in this cave, there was no other way out than the entrance with which she had entered the cave. Nettles, who suddenly felt that her whole body temperature had dropped very low, knew that she could not survive long and had to get out of here. She started using fire-type moves to keep her body warm and to melt solid ice. In addition, she began to remove the stones and the ice to clear the entrance. Unfortunately, she did not make much progress, and the work was more challenging because of the cold. Nettles' whole day's work removed only the 3 meters of the path and was not even close to the exit. She couldn't sleep for long either, because otherwise, her body would freeze to death, so she slept for 30 minutes several times in order not to get too tired. Even though it wasn't optimal, she was able to relieve her exhaustion well enough. Nettles started to clear the 3 or 4 meter path every day and slowly struggled towards freedom. She thought about giving up several times but suppressed that thought quickly because of her child and gave her best every day. Even if she felt that it was hopeless, she wasn't one to admit defeat. This proud Nettles even began to eat the Zubats in this cave just so that she and her child can survive. Zubats tasted terrible, really terrible, and Nettles had never eaten something so disgusting in her entire life. She even thought about dying with dignity rather than eating something like that. But the thought of her child made her sturdy ego crumble into pieces as she consumed her food with a bitter face. After 30 days, she managed to be just before the entrance. Although her whole body was in a terrible state and could only move with willpower, she felt that she and her child would survive. When Nettles wanted to continue working, she suddenly felt a great deal of pain. In this weak state, she knew that she will not survive and only showed a sad expression as she thought about how to save her child. After 20 painful minutes, Nettles finally saw her child for the first time hiding in its egg. Although she was bleeding and her whole body was cold, she began to gently embrace her egg with her body to keep her child warm with her fur. As she slowly passed out, she had only one thought: will my child survive? Chapter 178. Alex, Steven, and Steven's bodyguard went to the cold mountain top on the mountain chain to find valuable stones or Pokemon. Everyone had warm clothes and everyone had at least 2 Pokemon outside to protect them in an emergency. After 2 days with no particular discoveries, Steven and Alex were in a relatively bad mood. Steven only found 1 stone that he found interesting and Alex found absolutely nothing that interested him. Alex always looked at the info of Pokemon he encountered, but none of these Pokemon met his high requirements. Gardevoir, who was outside with Crobat, suddenly showed a serious expression as she said telepathically, "Father, I can feel a Pokemon egg here that is in a cave. There are also no Pokemon near this egg. That's really strange. Normally, mothers of Pokemon never leave their children alone. I'll have a look at it, I might find something interesting," thought Alex. At this moment, Alex was also happy that he has Gardevoir that can find Pokemon where sound waves cannot reach them. Crobat has a longer range, but Pokemon that are under the ground cannot discover, which is sometimes really less than ideal. Alex looks him in the direction of Steven and said, "Steven, I found a Pokemon egg. Let's go in there and look at it." Steven smiled and started following Alex. Alex knew that Steven would not rob him even if this egg is valuable, so that he has no problem telling him what he found. As both agreed beforehand, the person who first discovered a Pokemon or an item may first decide whether he wants it. After a few minutes, Alex came in front of a cave entrance that had been shot and was thickly covered with snow. Gardevoir saw Alex with a slightly confused expression and said, "Father, the cave entrance is only blocked by a 2-meter wall of snow and stone. I can easily clear that with Psychic in 5 minutes." Alex knew that there was a faster way to get to Gardevoir. He had the feeling that this method is very safe and does not risk the egg being accidentally injured because too much power is used. After 5 minutes the path was clear and Alex saw a dead Nettles wrapped around an egg. Alex, who already had a bit of experience, could roughly estimate how long this Nettles has been dead. He would estimate that this Nettle is dead around 3 days. He also saw how stones and snow were laid evenly on the edge of the cave. He looked like this Nettles tried to escape this cave but died shortly before the end. Alex couldn't see how many meters she dug, but he could see that it was at least 20 meters from his position. A Nettles, huh? Alex didn't really want this Nettles egg and thought about what to do with it. He has high requirements for foreign Pokemon before he begins to accept them in his family and does not want to have a Nettles where he does not know the potential. She couldn't help but think of her mother who sacrificed her life for them when she saw this Nettles use her own body to keep her child warm. Gardevoir began to ask with a sad expression, "Father, can't we take this egg?" Alex, who heard this, showed a surprised expression and looked at Gardevoir. Gardevoir showed a nervous expression when she said, "I know that it crosses my limits, but I think that these Nettles would be a good fit for us. I can also see that the mother's age of the egg is the same as mine and already has this strength without a trainer. She was at least level 30, so I think the potential was very good and her kid can't be too bad either." Quote. Alex, who heard this, just smiled as he thought. Although he knew that Gardevoir had to pick up this egg because of her mother, he had to admit that she was not entirely wrong. If the mother of this Pokemon really reaches such a high level in a few months, she probably has at least one shallow gold talent. If the child's father has a similar talent, it may well be that there is a gold Pokemon in this egg. Also, it's not bad to have another fire-type Pokemon when Combuskin has the move Sunny Day to the expert rank and that move is an innate talent move. Alex thought about it for a few seconds but found no reason not to take this Pokemon. Even if this Pokemon is a silver Pokemon, he can train it to the gold rank with enough money. Steven saw Alex take the egg carefully and said with a smile, "Haha, Alex, is that your new Pokemon now?" Alex, who started this Pokemon to close his heart, said seriously, "No. It's my family." Although Alex has great demands, he is very gentle as soon as he accepts a Pokemon. Even if this Pokemon was a bronze Pokemon, he wouldn't give up and still try his best to make it stronger. Although it would be a waste of money as with Ditto, Alex would still do it. Family and strange Pokemon are treated completely differently by him. Steven, who knew Alex enough, nodded seriously and began to seriously say, "Alex, I recommend you leave this mountain quickly. This cold for a baby fire Pokemon is really not optimal. It's a miracle that this egg survived at all." Alex looked in the direction of Steven and said, "Steven, I'll go now. I'll see you later." Alex said, "Gardevoir, teleport us to our room," and disappeared in front of Steven and his bodyguard. Guest room in the villa of the Stones family. Alex, Crobat, and Gardevoir appeared in the room at the same time. Although Alex was able to teleport into the room, he was only able to do it because the psychic-type guard from the Stevens family allowed it. A stronger psychic-type Pokemon can interrupt teleporting from a weaker psychic-type Pokemon if it wants to. But because Alex is an excellent guest of Steven Stone's, he is allowed to teleport to his room. When Alex was about to go to the bathroom, he suddenly heard a strange noise. It was quiet, but it sounded like something was breaking. Alex looked in the direction of the noise and saw the Ninetales' egg start to hatch. Chapter 179. The Pokemon egg slowly started to break from the inside. And after a few seconds, there was a cute Vulpix with beautiful blue eyes and a curious look. This Vulpix was different from her mother such that it was white in color and not yellow-orange like her mother. Alolan Vulpix. How is this possible? In any case, except legendary, the species is inherited from the mother of the child, so it should not be possible. Alex stopped thinking and gently took Vulpix in his arms when he saw it looking around fearfully. Then he started saying in a very calm and warm voice, "Don't worry, Vulpix. You are safe here." Vulpix looked at Alex for a few seconds and slowly began to close her eyes while staying comfortably in his arms. Alex took a chair and sat down with the adorable sleeping Vulpix. Alex's other Pokemon started to look closely at Vulpix when they realized that she was asleep. They wanted to take a closer look at their new sister. Crobat was startled as a sudden realization hit him. "Wait a minute, I just noticed that we now have more female Pokemon than male Pokemon." Bastiodon nodded with agreement. "Yes, you are right, brother Crobat. The last 3 family members have been female. This is really a weird coincidence." Crobat retorted, "Coincidence? I don't think so. If something happens 3 times in a row, it is not a coincidence. I'm sure that our trainer chooses female Pokemon on purpose. It's the author, P." Ditto had a confused expression when he said, But why would he do that? It doesn't make any difference." Scizor, who was listening in all the time, couldn't bear the arrogant front of Crobat anymore as he said, "Shut up, you fat bat. Just because Ditto doesn't understand your twisted opinion doesn't mean he can't understand the difference between genders." Gardevoir, who overheard the whole conversation, looked in the direction of Eevee and said in a funny tone, "Haha, looks like Big Brother Crobat has something against us getting a new sister." Eevee said with a smirk, "Hee, honestly, it's a bit funny. We all know that Brother Crobat would like a new sister more anyway and is just playing hard." Gardevoir nodded and said, "Yes, you are not wrong. Father, Crobat, and Scizor are very similar in this case." Eevee began to say, with a confused expression, "What about Brother Bastiodon? He's like that too, right?" Gardevoir said with a mischievous smile, "Well, not entirely. Little Brother Bastiodon doesn't play hard." Then she looked at Bastiodon, who was playing with Combuskin and had a sweet smile the whole time. Eevee looked at Bastiodon and said, "You know, it's impressive how cute he can be. Even as an elite Pokemon." Meanwhile, Crobat and Scizor had started their bickering. Scizor smiled as he said, "Ho. You mean in this little space where you can barely run away? Come on, let's fight and see if you have a chance without being able to run away." Crobat, who knew that this statement was true, said in reply, "It was clear that you can only win if the field is to your advantage." Alex, who overheard this conversation, had enough of it as he said in a low but threatening voice, "Scizor, Crobat, go to training and don't bother Vulpix. If she wakes up because of you, I'll make your life hell for the next 3 days." Scizor and Crobat knew that Alex would really do this and started to go for training without uttering a word. Alex saw that it was quiet again and began to look at the information of Vulpix. Pokemon. Alolan Vulpix. LV. 1. Type. Ice. Gender. Female. Potential. Gold. Moves. Powder Snow. Unusable. Innate Talent. Hex. Unusable. Innate Talent. Howl. Unusable. Innate Talent. Blizzard. Unusable. Alex was already starting to think about the role of Vulpix in his team. Ninetales has very balanced base stats, with each number being at least 70 and different types of moves. She also has 2 good properties, namely, Speed on 100 and SP. Def on 100. Plus, she has some really great innate talent moves like Howl, which will be very useful in team battles. Alex had the feeling that the word all-rounder goes very well with this Vulpix. Gold. Wow, even Torchic was only born with a shallow gold talent. It's a shame that it only has 1 evolution. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that difficult to get it to the diamond rank. Presumably. Alex can only guess how difficult it is to improve the potential there. If I get Vulpix on the deep gold rank with items, it shouldn't be difficult to get her to the shallow diamond with a top ice stone. Unfortunately, I'm the only one who knows about the exact potential of Pokemon, so Steven's experience doesn't help much. In this world, trainers do not know the difference between a shallow gold, and deep gold Pokemon. Each of these Pokemon is an S-ranked Pokemon for all other trainers like Steven. Thus, many trainers think that it is by luck that some S-ranked Pokemon reaches the SS rank despite having fewer items and evolution forms. There are even cases where a rich man has spent more than 100 million on items to get his Pokemon on the SS rank but ends up without any success. This example shows Alex that he should only give his Pokemon the best items and the right items at the right moment. Or else, it will make progress more difficult for his Pokemon. In this world, Alex is probably the only trainer who best understands how the talent of a Pokemon works, which is a ridiculous advantage. Although he has to find out most of the information himself, it's not a real disadvantage for Alex. Chapter 180. 5 days later, in the guest room of Steven's villa. A lot has happened these days, and Alex has found out a lot of new things. First, he had Gardevoir test 1,000 random people for their psychic potential. And Alex had to admit that he was very content with the result of this test. As he previously learned from Gardevoir, he had 10 times psychic energy compared to Steven. But after the test, Alex realized that Steven had a slightly above average psychic potential. Results from Alex's test. Average person, 5 psychic energy. 1 in 10 people, 10 psychic energy. Steven is in this category. 1 in 100 people, 60 psychic energy. 1 in 500 people, 100 psychic energy. Alex, 100 psychic energy. Although Alex tested so many people, Gardevoir only found 2 people with roughly 90 and 110 psychic energy out of over 1,000 people, which shows that Alex's talent is, at least, quite remarkable. Unfortunately, Alex knows that his talent is only good and not exceptional compared to other people. He was sure that it is not even in the top 100 and that it will be impossible for him to have skills similar to Sabrina. Alex just hopes that he can learn some useful psychic skills. Although Lisa now knows that Alex has a good talent for being a psychic since he asked for an exercise book, Lisa would only see it as a small plus to Alex's strength. Very few people can train psychic skills that are useful in real life, such as strengthening psychic-type Pokemon with their energy or the ability to teleport on their own. Alex's talent is far from it. Few hours after Alex asked Lisa for help, she sent him a book and a small measuring device that can measure psychic energy. Alex immediately started reading through the book and had to admit that the contents of this book are really helpful. He also used the meter, which displayed the value of 203. With his previous tests, an ordinary person should have a value of 10. It says that there are 5 levels of talent that make people different, and each level strongly affects the psychic skills that can be learned. Level 1 requires at least a value of 20 psychic energy, the absolute minimum for using the worst psychic training method. Only after 20 to 50 years can you use the most simplistic psychic ability, bending a spoon. Level 2 requires at least 50 psychic energy. This allows a slightly better psychic training method to be used than level 1 and allows one to learn psychic skills faster. Only after 7 to 15 years can one use the simplest psychic ability, bending a spoon, and only after 10 to 20 years can one move light objects. Level 4 requires a minimum value of 500 psychic energy. The one with such talent is one of the most talented people and is considered among the top 100 psychic talents in the world. It allows one to use the best and fastest psychic training method. One is born with some easy psychic skills and can use them as a child without any training. Skills like telepathy with Pokemon, bending objects, moving light to moderately heavy objects can learn almost all psychic skills with enough time. Level 5 requires at least a value of 2000 psychic energy. A person with such an amount of psychic energy will be considered the one of the most talented psychic talents in the world. One will be able to use the best and fastest psychic training method or even create one's own specialized psychic training method. Born with almost all psychic skills, even if one can hardly control them at a young age. Allows one to develop new psychic skills with enough time and practice. Alex, who knows that he was on level 3, was relatively satisfied instead of being sad. He can learn some really useful psychic skills quickly. And even the ability to teleport independently is not impossible in the future. The book also showed many other topics that Alex found very interesting. For example, you can easily recognize that one has a good psychic talent if she can understand what a Pokemon is saying only through facial expressions and gestures, as was the case with Alex. This is the preliminary stage of the psychic skill telepathy and can be accommodated by people from level 3 without training. Alex, who read this for the first time, realized why it was so easy for him to understand what his Pokemon are saying most of the time as long as he takes a look at their facial expressions and gestures. He began to read through the psychic training method from level 3 and began training with it every day. At the end of the 4th day, he managed to bend small spoons with the help of his psychic energy. If you like this video, please like, comment, share and most importantly subscribe. Also click on notification bell and set it on all.